Hello, friends. Welcome to the Double Cut. I'm Micah Woods. In this episode, we'll talk about stressed turf, and we will talk about nutrient supply to turf that is under stress. I have been thinking about this recently because in some parts of the world, it is Northern Hemisphere summer. I'm actually recording this from the Southern Hemisphere, but I've been thinking about how hot it is in some places in the north in the middle of summer. And the question is, if the grass is on the verge of extreme heat stress, do you want to supply extra nutrients? Is it going to perform better if it has extra nutrients supplied to it? And here's how I think about that. This is a blog post with the title, Does Stressed Turf require more nutrient supply or less? I wrote this some years ago, and it started by a conversation that I had online with Carmen Magro, and he and I showed a fundamental difference in the way that we think about turf nutrition. And as we had that conversation, it kind of clarified for me how I think about turf nutrition in regards to stress and whether turf that's under stress needs more nutrients or needs less. I will put a direct link to this post in the show notes. It has a title, Does Stressed Turf Require More Nutrient Supply or Less? My overall thinking about turf nutrition is that if the grass is supplied with enough of an element, then adding more of that element will provide no benefit to the grass. We just want to make sure that the grass is supplied with enough. And there can be a lot of detail involved to figure out how much is enough. But once we've supplied enough, then we don't get any benefit from adding more than that. That's my general philosophy. Now, this particular conversation that I had with Carmen, it started when he asked, why are some still saying NPK only for fertility in turf? And I was happy to answer that because I kind of felt like that question might have been directed at me or to people who think like I do, that if there's enough of something, then adding more is going to provide no benefit. So I said that if there's enough P and K in the soil, I'll be happy to say that N is the only element required. So I even went further than Carmen asked. He said, why are some still saying NPK only? And I said, well, if you already have enough P and K in the soil, then actually you'd be fine going N only with fertilizer. And we continued that discussion, and I think you can still find that in the X archives. If you click through the links in this post, you can go see that full discussion, which I'm not going to repeat that full discussion because I want to talk about what became apparent to me is what I think of stress is. And I think it might be useful to review that and think about what stress is and why I make the argument that adding extra nutrients when the grass is under stress is not going to be necessary and it's not going to provide a benefit. Our difference, it turned out as that conversation went on, was whether the degree of stress on the turf influences the nutrient requirement. And I guess in which direction it would influence the nutrient requirement. Carmen seemed to think that the more stress, the more nutrients you would need. And I think that the more stress, the less nutrients you need. And I'm using a definition of plant stress by Philip Grime. And I took a quote, which you can read in this post. It's from the second edition of his book, Plant Strategies, Vegetation Processes, and Ecosystem Properties. In that book, he defines stress as, I quote here, stress is the external constraints which limit the rate of dry matter production of all or part of the vegetation. stress is something that limits the rate of dry matter production. So it means the grass is growing less. If the grass is growing less, it's going to use fewer nutrients. I wrote in this post that one is always trying to produce good turf, grass that is healthy as possible. That grass is going to have a certain concentration of mineral nutrients in it. As the degree of outside stress increases, I wrote, the rate of dry matter production will be reduced. There is consequently a decrease in the plant demand for nutrients. So if the quantity of nutrients supplied were sufficient at a lesser degree of outside stress, how can it be that the nutrient demand increases when stress increases? So I believe, and I think I'm right, that the rate of nutrient use by the grass is related to how much it grows. If the grass is growing a lot, then it's going to use a lot of nutrients. If the grass is not growing, then it's not using nutrients. That's the way it works. So if stress is something that limits the rate of dry matter production, then that means the grass is growing less. It means it's using less nutrients, and that means the plant's demand for nutrients goes down. That might not be intuitive at first if you come at this with a different mindset, and if you think that if the grass is under stress, then you want to surround the roots with extra nutrients, or you want to coat the leaves with extra nutrients. There is a bias toward action. People want to do something, but the something that should be done, you don't get a benefit from adding those extra nutrients. If you want to do something, you want to focus on trying to remove the source of the stress or reduce the intensity of the stress. Because when the grass is under stress, it's not suffering from a lack of nutrient supply. It's suffering from too much heat or too much shade or not enough water, that sort of thing. So if the stress is not being caused by a nutrient deficiency, and if that stress is caused by something else, then we don't really have a connection between the stress and the grass's demand for a particular element. The one case where I do think we need some extra nutrients is when grass has been under stress to such a degree that it thins out a bit. If the grass has been under stress to such a degree that it thins out or the root system shrinks, in order to grow back to full coverage, grow back to a full-size plant with a normal amount of stolons, normal amount of rhizomes, a normal type of root system, in order to grow back, we would need some extra nutrients in that case. But we can't get that recovery until the stress is reduced. So the management focus should be on reducing the stress. And otherwise, if you're just trying to, if the stress is not gone yet, and if the stress is high temperatures, let's say you have high temperatures, you're growing bent grass, the temperature during the day is 100, the nighttime low is 84 Fahrenheit. Or if we put that in Celsius, it's like Shanghai this week. It's 38 degrees for a high and 29 degrees Celsius for a low. That's extremely stressful for creeping bent grass. That grass is actually going to be producing a lot of clippings at that kind of temperature, but it's dying. It's burning up the carbohydrates inside the plant, and if that type of heat persists for too much time, the grass dies because it's used up all the carbohydrates. But adding extra nutrients doesn't solve this problem. You just want to supply the nutrients in proportion to how much clippings you're harvesting. So I think the the idea of stress and then adding extra nutrients, in the case of Shanghai, if Shanghai is getting a lot of clippings, or let's say you're in Augusta, Georgia, and the grass is producing a lot of clippings in the summer, or you're growing bent grass in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and the grass is producing a lot of clippings in the summer. And so that is suffering from heat stress, but it's growing a lot. In that case, yes, you want to match the nutrient supply to the amount that is being used by the grass. If your growth is, let's say you put a lot of drought stress on the grass, so you try to keep the greens as firm as possible by keeping them as dry as possible, and the grass doesn't grow very much because it's been dry, in that case, you don't get a benefit to the grass by supplying extra nutrients. That doesn't relieve the stress. You relieve the stress by adding extra water. You add water to reduce the stress caused by drought. So that's the way that I like to simplify the thinking about stress on the grass. And keep in mind that stress is something that reduces the growth. It limits the rate of dry matter production. That's what it does. And when the rate of dry matter production is reduced, then you have less use of nutrients. So in the case of turf that is under a lot of heat stress, you may find this is where you really want to be careful about monitoring how much the grass is growing. I think clipping volume is a great way to do that, because that will let you know how much is being harvested, and you can think of supplying the nutrients back to the grass in proportion to the amount that it's being used. And you match the nutrient supply to the grass to the nutrient harvest. That makes a lot of sense to me. Eventually, as those carbohydrates get depleted in the plant, the growth rate eventually goes down. But when you first get that onset of heat stress, the grass can produce a lot of clippings. So this is something that I would encourage you to be very clear thinking about. Think about it very clearly about making sure that you address the source of stress and you don't make applications that don't really have any benefit, because it's hard to keep grass in good condition through heat stress, through drought stress, through shade stress, and making sure that every application that you make, every bit of work that you do, every action that you take to make some change to the conditions of the grass, or some change to the conditions of the soil, some change to the growing environment of the grass, make sure that each effort is going to have the desired effect. That's how I think about this issue. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will be happy to elaborate on this. This is something that I think is very interesting. So I'm happy to continue these discussions. And if you think I've got it wrong, then I would like to hear that also, so I can get myself corrected. I will be back again soon with more interesting turfgrass information. For now, I will sign off from Sydney, Australia. I'm Michael Woods. Bye-bye.